Welcome to the program today on this Monday. It is 105:30 right now and 84 degrees outside. We've got a full rundown on the forecast coming up in just a moment. But if you want to be a part of our conversation today, have some fun, ask some questions, weather or ag related or really anything else in between, you're more than welcome to. Give us a call on the Red Wing Shoe phone line or the shoe line. 701-293-9000 is the number to call into the studio, or you can use our email inboxes at weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. We also have a third option. If you don't have either of the other two available, drop a comment on the live streams on Facebook and YouTube. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. We kicked Dean Wysocki out here to shoot double par in a golf tournament. And we got Ag Director Bridgette Readel along with me. Bridgette, how are you today?
Fabulous. And what do you think the chances are that Dean gets double par?
I think it's probably pretty good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't feeling quite that positive, so oh well.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's a few strokes behind.
I would assume as well, yes.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
I've played golf with Dean. And I think he's better at driving the golf cart than the ball.
That's my specialty, actually. But here it is. It's a day that we continue to have rain. I was in Grand Forks already this morning, and I'll be heading out to Dickinson later today. Rainfall on the way to Grand Forks. Saw lots of drops on the windshield, and it's pretty damp. Now the wind is up, so I'm not really seeing sprayers going, but right now I'm facing a pretty nice-looking soybean field. And there's a definite wave in the grass in the ditches. So it's probably not a terrible day outside for drying weather, and maybe we'll stay like that for a couple more.
Yeah, we got some dry-ish weather in the forecast for the next few days. There's a conditional threat for rain later today into the evening hours, which I'll dive into a little bit more than that. But outside of that, our next real chance for showers isn't going to come until overnight Thursday into Friday, so we should be able to sneak out, dependent on what exactly plays out later today, at least Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday of relatively basically dry conditions outside of a couple sprinkles here or there, Bridgette.
And hopefully it is nowhere near what we've been seeing to our south and to our east. I've gotten lots of videos from farmers and other folks in agribusiness south of us when you get to that Sioux Falls area, down further south, really on either side, either west of Sioux Falls or east into Minnesota and Iowa. We're talking about a lot of rainfall happened in a several day period. I saw up to 12 inches on some reports. We're talking roads and bridges completely washed out. Overland flooding, homes, streets, roads, culverts blown out.
Towns.
Our countryside
whole
was
towns.
Yeah, complete towns. Our countryside just wasn't built to move that much water volume at one time, and there's quite a bit on the go.
Yep, there sure is, and there will be a threat for additional rainfall in those areas come tomorrow as our chance or a threat for severe weather shifts further to the south through South Dakota, Iowa. Further eastward, but we do see a chance for rainfall today, and if we are able to get that rainfall to form, or the storms, there would likely be some areas that could be pushing an inch or more of rainfall for those that get hit with some of the heavier rain that develops possibly later today. And I'm using these maybe possibly terms instead of other terms because it literally is just a wait and see kind of thing, and that's just what it happens to be today. It's a wait and see if they develop. And when I say that, I'm referring to a conditional threat for development of thunderstorms. And what we're dealing with today is we have all the ingredients to produce big storms later today. It's just, are they all going to come together the right way to get those storms to develop? And what we're dealing with, Bridgette, today is what you may have heard before, a cap in the atmosphere. So we have this layer of warm air aloft that's going to try and inhibit the development of thunderstorms. So you have your storm or your storm cloud wants to go up. It's going to hit that layer of warmer air, and it's just going to stop it from going any further up, and it just kind of comes back down. So you think of it like a pressure cooker lid is what we have over us today. And while that lid is in place, all the pressure just kind of stays where it is. Nothing changes. But if that lid's not on there right, or you take the lid off, or it weakens, in the case that we'll be watching today, then you get everything to blow up, and you get all your storms that'll rush up to the top, and you get some bad weather. So that's kind of the thing we're waiting for. We have a cap overhead. It's just, is there enough pressure that's going to build up this afternoon to break that cap and get those storms to develop? So we'll just have to wait and see exactly how it plays out. Right now, I would say there's a 60% chance it doesn't, a 40% chance that it does. So if it does happen, then every storm that develops will have the potential of being a severe storm with 60, 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts, 2-inch hail, even a possibility of an isolated tornado in a storm or two. And then as those storms, again, if they develop, go later into this evening, they'll turn more into a cluster and a line of storms, and they'll race further to the southeast into Minnesota, where they're expecting much heavier rain, much stronger wind, and large hail into southeastern Minnesota and areas of Wisconsin, where their threat's a little bit higher than it is here in the Red River Valley and Lakes Country. So something we're keeping an eye on. Real potential for some destructive storms later today. It's just kind of a 40-60. Do they happen?
Oh, man. Well, I guess we'll wait and watch. It certainly has felt like it's a possibility with the humidity, the southerly winds we're having, and warm sunshine and temperatures building up, because just since the sun has come out, I know we've seen a substantial increase in our temperatures. It's really moved quickly.
Yeah, we're already working our way into the, well, I'll grab current conditions around the area, but I believe we're about 84 degrees here in Fargo with dew points at 68 degrees. And for the most part, it looks like we're dealing with temperatures near 80 to about 84 degrees in eastern North Dakota. Minnesota basically stuck in the 70s, a few low to mid 80s by the Notch into South Dakota. And dew points around the area are also up there, and they're going to continue to rise to the upper 60s and low 70s. We might even see some mid 70s popping up around the area, and upper 70s down into southern Minnesota. So when it gets to 70 degrees for a dew point, that's where you're like, all right, yeah, it's muggy outside. That's what we're dealing with right now. You step outside and you get slapped with it right in the face.
You pretty much say, I've had enough.
Yeah, so. I've had enough, and I'm going back inside. So Dean can enjoy the golf course today and all the heat close to 90 degrees later today and that excessive humidity.
Yeah, he'll be happy to take in all those things. You and I, we'll just keep doing what we do over here. How's that?
I am A-okay with that. Hey, how's your garden doing?
Coming right along. These heat units are certainly going to help. You have things like tomatoes and peppers that are going to pop up and do really well. It would be nice to have a little bit of cool for the peas, but that is going to be essential when it blooms. So maybe I need a couple of cool days right there. But for the moment, everything is coming right along. I did have a listener question that came in late in the day last week and wanted to answer that. The question was, where are our custom combiners these days? And for those who are wondering, what is a custom combiner? Well, if you have crews that go out and they make the run that starts in Texas, cutting winter wheat, moving all the way through wheat harvest in Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Canada, that's what they do. They are crews with combines, grain carts, and many people in order to continue to cut that grain, because you sometimes have farmers who either don't have enough equipment to take it off on their own, or they just need help because weather's coming, etc. Some of the combiners that I know and have talked to, they have right now they've been cutting in western Kansas with some of the winter wheat. I think that's going to continue to move northward at a fairly steady pace. They like to time themselves to get up here, especially into western South Dakota and western North Dakota, to start picking up acres whenever they can. So plenty going on when it comes to the combining realm. They haven't fallen away. There is a U.S. Custom Combiners Association, and they usually have a national meeting in the winter months, because who has time in the summer? So we got to keep up with what those guys are doing too.
Sure. I used to do that in my my farming simulator game. One side,
you were a custom combiner?
Well, I was more of a custom applicator. than harvesting, because that's where the most money was. So I would just buy
Ah,
the biggest sprayer that would hold the most, and I'd go around the map to everybody's farm and I'd just spray all their crops, and they'd pay me very, very well. It was a very quick way of
I've
making
s-
money.
I have seen some of those big sprayers, and in fact, I'll probably be looking at a couple of them tomorrow in Dickinson when I get out there tonight.
Yeah,
I
what do
have
you do?
plenty to
What are you
do.
going out there for? You were
I'm
mentioning that to earlier.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing some video work for NDSU. We're going to try to get those things knocked off. It's a busy week. The EPA is also in North Dakota this week, visiting with crop consultants, farmers, folks in the agribusiness world, just trying to get a feel for what we do and how we do it up here, and making sure that what regulators want to see and what's actually happening meet somewhere in the middle. How does that sound?
Right on, right on. You always seem like you're off to somewhere, Bridget.
Never slows down. And
Never does.
also, speaking of slows down, that might follow the heat situation, because our buddy out in New Jersey, Steve,
Ah,
he let me
Steve.
know that late last week was well into the 90s in New Jersey. So
Oof.
if we were wondering, as an indication of where our weather's going to go, well, it's going to keep moving eastward. And I don't know if you want to tell Steve it's going to get better or worse for him on the East Coast.
It's gonna be hot, Steve. Put the AC on and chill out in the basement.
I think that's probably the best thing most of us can do on any regular day. Try to chill out.
So I actually was down in mine the other day, and I'm down in my basement quite often, but
Okay.
just I mean, I don't know what it was, but for some reason it just hit me on how much colder it was in the basement compared to upstairs, where like the house was like 74, but the thermostat in our basement, it was 64. It was a 10-degree difference that day. I was like, man, this feels good.
If you have never been around sod houses, there actually was one not too terribly far from my home farm. If you look at a house that had been built of sod originally in like the late 1800s, those walls are probably a 2 to 3 foot thickness,
Hmm.
and such an insulator, always much cooler, and then also could be kept much warmer in the winter months. So, to be honest, if you wanted to build your house of sod, it's a pretty good insulator.
I would
Not sure if
imagine
that's in
so.
your budget though, right?
Well, it's not in my budget.
And it's probably not going to be on the forefront of thoughts with our first guest today. And he'll be joining us here after the American Ag Network. That's Mike Linnertz. Linnertz. He's with the
Leonard's.
U.S. General Sales Manager with Prairie Builders. They're from out in western North Dakota. Who they are, what they do, I guess we'll find out. But again, I don't think they're building sod houses these days. Maybe he can tell us what's happening there in that world instead.
Indeed. And if you got a question for Mike while we're visiting with them for a few moments in our next segment, feel free to give us a call and talk about, well, any questions you have. 701 293 9000 is the Red Wing Shoe phone line. Stay tuned after the Ag Network. We're right back.
Alrighty, and we are welcoming you right back to Weather and Ag in Focus. So glad that you are with us today. And our guest should be joining us just momentarily, and that's Mike Leonards. He is with the Prairie Builders out in western North Dakota. So we'll get more information on that as soon as he's here. Also, wanted to just let folks know that you can not only watch us on YouTube and Facebook, but you can catch us over on Acres TV. And maybe you're doing that while you're preparing to enjoy your afternoon in the sunshine and using some North Dakota Sweet Crude as part of your day. It is a great way to relax if maybe you've already finished your golf game for the day, unlike Dean Wysocki. And this is something you can have on the rocks. It's got a smooth cinnamon and spice flavor. Maybe you want to use the Sweet Crude Orange, which has a great orange finish. If you're looking for ideas for drinks, check them out at crudespirits.com. They'll give you all sorts of mixing ideas, and you can pick up North Dakota Sweet Crude at your favorite liquor store in the region. So, Justin, I think maybe we have our guest with us today. Has Mike joined us?
Yes, Mike has joined us. How's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you?
Hey, we're doing well.
Excellent. It's good to have you with us, Mike. So tell us a little bit about who's Prairie Builders. That name seems a little bit new to our listeners.
Yeah, Prairie Post Frame USA. We recently just started. We are focusing on North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and the western side of Minnesota. So we came in. We're hitting it hard. We're doing it good, and just keeping things simple. We do post frame buildings, and that's all we do, and we do it very well.
Okay, so can you explain post frame buildings? I mean, as a farm kid, I have a pretty good idea, but Justin didn't grow up farming, so
I got no
what would we
idea.
be looking at? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, basically buildings that are put up, they're wood frame buildings, wood structure buildings, wrapped in metal siding, metal roofing, used for machinery storage, riding arenas, heated shops out on the farm. I would say probably 75% of what we do is agriculture based. We do get into some commercial projects as well, but mostly agriculture.
Cool.
So go ahead, Justin.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what are some of the different size buildings that you're building?
Sure. We do anything from 24 by 24 garage, if that's what a person wants or needs, up to 100-foot wide structures as long as you want them. I would say common heights today are 18, 20, 22 foot tall for all the big equipment that we have now. I've been doing this for almost 25 years, and back then, like a 40 by 50, 40 by 60 was a huge building back then. But the equipment has sure changed over the years.
Sure has.
So, Mike, when you said those post frame buildings and you mentioned farm shops, are you doing the just the outside walls and structure? Are you doing any of the finishing work inside, or would a farmer or have himself or someone else finish that out for him?
So we do all the insulating, and then the finishing. We can do interior framing to make rooms or offices, that kind of thing. We do the insulating, the liner panel on the ceiling and walls, the vapor barriers, that kind of thing. We normally have the owners source out, like the electricians, plumbers, and concrete flooring.
I see. What about if someone wanted to do anything, say like custom work, custom built? Do you do any offer anything like that, or is it kind of pre-build different selections or options that somebody would have?
Yeah, so we have our standard sizes. It just has to do with our spacings and things. So they're just the most efficient way to go. But yes, we custom anything. We can build anything to up to 1 inch of whatever they want it to be or need it to be. We can do lean-tos, porches, wraparounds, anything
right.
that people can see or have a need for.
So why would somebody want to choose go with you with Prairie Builders instead of, say, maybe a competitor or someone else that they've heard of?
I would say some of the key points is what we do is we just kind of overbuild everything. So as an example, if our competitors are using a 4-ply laminated 2x6 post, in that same application, we're using a 2x8 post. We just build a little stronger. Most of our specs are from up in the northern area and up into Canada. So we bring all of our buildings down and make them comply even with the harshest winters from up there.
Yeah, we tend to get those periodically, so I guess that's
Yes,
always
we
a
do.
plus thing to have. You don't want to have to worry about having a weak spot and ended up having a bunch of snow one winter. And I think we
Ooh,
had a few
yeah.
situations where that happened last year or a couple of years ago, Bridgette, wasn't it? 2 years ago, there were a few
Oh, yeah.
roof collapsing.
Yeah, we've had a few of them, but Mike, I bet some of your standards have improved, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
It's funny you say that. I've been doing this for many, many years, as I said earlier, and I have never had a finished building ever fall down, collapse, a ceiling fall in. I've never had a building failure.
Good stuff.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
Mike, have you been seeing any recent trends in construction, particularly like you said in the post frame buildings that you're doing, or even like in finished shops that you're fitting out for someone to make sure that when they finish the project that they can get what they want out of it?
I would say some things have changed a little bit as far as some product. There's just newer products all the time, new things coming out for different sidings or insulation, things like that, we always make available. But I'd say probably the biggest trend is the barndominiums, people building like shop and then house space or living quarter space out
Yeah.
of these buildings. You get a lot of square footage for a less amount of price than the traditional build.
Yeah, and then Mike, what is your radius or the your working radius that you're working right now?
So we cover all of Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and then the western half of Minnesota.
I see. And how are your
And we have we have crews from around different areas that travel around to these sites.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you had different offices headquartered in each state, or if you just have traveling crews. And then along with that, how are your crews doing? Are you looking for any additional help if someone might be looking for a new opportunity, maybe?
Sure, absolutely. We offer actually a startup program for crews that we help good working guys that have good talent and knowledge, and maybe they, maybe just don't have the ability to go take out a big, huge loan to buy, semis, pickups, forklifts, things like that. We will help finance their business so they can be their own boss and work for us.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
nice.
pretty cool. So
That's excellent.
if somebody's interested in either getting some information on a post frame construction or really anything with Prairie Builders, or maybe they're looking for a new opportunity, if they can find a gig that works with them, where could they go to get different kinds of information from Prairie Builders on those topics?
So they can always call me direct for any information or questions they have, or if they want quotes or just want to know how things operate or anything to do with what we're up to, they can call me direct, 701-885-0555, or they can look on our website at prairiepostframe.ca and look us up, and then they can see all of our products and different builds that we've done. There's photo galleries and things that they can look at and get ideas.
Awesome. And what was that website again?
prairiepostframe.ca.
Awesome. And then any last thing you want to say before we have to head here to bottom of the hour news, Mike?
I would say just the biggest thing that we want everybody to know about us is that we are built strong. We're built stronger than most. We use 28 gauge metal instead of 29. We use 2x8 posts and tip instead of 2x6. And we're extremely efficient at what we do. Our crews are amazing. They can show up to a site and, within 5, 6, 7 days, they're gone. The building's done.
Awesome. Look at that.
Wow.
Quick and built strong. Mike, with Prairie Builders, again, one more time, what was that website for someone to get more information?
Yeah, just go to prairiepostframe.ca.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. We got to hit bottom of the hour news. When we come back, we have another guest that's going to be joining us from the Red River Valley Fair. We're going to be talking with Aaron Fons, Director of Marketing and Events, in just a moment, so stay tuned.
Hello, folks, and welcome to WDAY's Weather and Ag in Focus. Justin and I are thrilled that you are joining us today. There's so many great things going on in farming and in the weather, and I mean great because it's a better day than it is for others. How's that sound? And we want to say thank you to our big sponsors on our Here We Grow project, or at least two of them. Dairyland Seed. We were out in the field with them last week, shot some video, got to see how our kern looks, as Justin called it. And then also Ellingson Drainage, which they've been getting, I would have to say they have been certainly putting in the most effort lately with all the rain people have had. Their drain pumps have been running, or tile pumps have been running pretty heavy lately. It's been a lot. So thanks to all of those folks. And you know what? We got to remember here, Justin, you and I will need to talk this week. We had some folks in, Chris was in from IntelliFarms, and we talked about a grain gauge giveaway and how we want to tie that into a yield contest here.
Yes.
I don't want to forget about that. And I also want to make sure that folks know that when they give us their yield guesses for our corn as our summer progresses, that's going to make sure to go to a farmer. I'm going to double check some of you to make sure that it's going to go to a farmer when we do our grain guesses.
We're going to cross our T's and dot our I's on that one, Bridgette.
We are. We just have to make sure that goes to the right person after IntelliFarms was so good about making sure we got one for a giveaway. All right. And today is a day for us to visit about all the things that are going on at the upcoming Red River Valley Fair. And there's a lot. We are joined by Erin Froms, Marketing Manager with Red River Valley Fair. Erin, how are you?
I am great. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing good.
Absolutely.
Good. It's
So,
fair's right around the corner.
very around the corner, and that's a longer corner than usual. You've added some days.
Yes. So we've switched to a 3-weekend format, which is kind of a trend going around in the fair world. So instead of 10 best days of summer, it will be the best days of summer with 11 chances to head out to the fairgrounds.
Look at that. So over those dates, what's changed? Because you're not doing the 10 days, you're spreading it out over 3 weeks. Am I correct?
Correct. So we'll start Friday, so the 28th, and we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll be closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then back open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then back open until Sunday.
Right on. So you're going from the 28th through the 30th, the 4th through the 7th, and then the 8th or the 11th through the 14th, right?
Correct. So
Awesome.
3 weeks of fair time.
Right on. Sounds like
Okay.
fun.
I know this is maybe a silly question, but what do y'all do when you're closed on those 2 days a week? Is that just the day for the fair employees to ride the rides, or what's going on behind the scenes?
I wish. So this will be my first fair. So I didn't realize all the background stuff that went on behind the scenes. So obviously it will give us a little bit of a break. Usually our staff works 10 days straight from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. So we will get a little bit of a break in there, making sure all of our signage is good, making sure everything is as clean as it can be for the community. And then our carnival will also be getting a break, and they're super excited about that. They're kind of, I hate to say it this way, but they're kind of a traveling circus. So they spend 10 days at one location, pack up, ship their stuff, and are at a new location and do 10 more days there. So this is our carnival's first chance to actually have a couple days to relax, inspect their rides, and also see our amazing community.
And you
Wow.
guys got
There's gonna be a lot going on.
some ag buildings over there as well this year. And what's going on with those?
Yes, so we just announced on Facebook actually about an hour ago, we are just adding a birthing center. So we'll have, I think, 5 or 6 cows that are due to give birth in our fair time. So there's a possibility to see live cow birth if you never have. And then we have our grand opening or reopening of our Ag Education Center, which we've had on our grounds since, I think, early. So 1905 is when I first opened, but we just put over $1 million in renovations to it.
Wow.
And we're still working on it. We're going to have it fair ready, but we still have a couple cool renovations up our sleeve for after fair.
So what are some of the things that the $1 million in renovations are going towards? Anything major that's changed significantly with that?
Yeah. So for the first time in over like 80 years, there'll be usable restrooms in there, which is awesome. And those will also include a adult changing. Yes, it seems small, but that's super exciting to have indoor bathrooms in there. And that'll include an adult changing table as well, which our fairgrounds have never had before. And then something really cool, we're the first people in the world to do this. We actually have a corn floor. So it's actual dried corn. And we have it resined or epoxied into the floor. So it looks like you're walking into a grain bin, which is absolutely mind-blowing when you see
That's
it.
cool.
We've been working on it for a while, and it's finally down. So you won't see it anywhere else in the world. Kind of cool. And then all of the commodities work together with us to create interactive booths throughout the building. So Soybean Council, Corn Council, the bee associations put some, and the soil conservation. Everybody has a booth in there that are interactive for all ages. And one more cool part that we just finalized and finished up today, we are going to have an immersive reality room. So it's kind of like walking in and putting on a VR headset, but you're not putting on the headset. You just get to walk in, and we have a bunch of different videos of hog farms. Hopefully soon we'll have one of driving a combine. So then you can get the true ag experience.
Well, doesn't that sound super cool? Bridgette, I think we gotta have to head on out there to the fair just to check that stuff out.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
want to
a
go
whole
just
day
to.
worth of stuff.
I've got to go to find out if I'm still there. And by that, I mean, a couple years ago, I did a video that's part of the interactive sessions over in the Ag Education building. And I don't know if I'm still on deck or not. So I have to go find out.
Wow, look at
Oh, gosh. Yes.
that.
So the 28th is our opening day. So you'll have to come check it out.
I think we can find some time to sneak away from there with how many golf tournaments Dean finds a way to sign up for during the show. I think he can let us sneak away for an afternoon. Aaron, tell me a little bit about your Adopt a Fair animal program for kids.
Yes. So our livestock enrichment program is something we implemented 3 years ago through our foundation. And it's just boomed this year. Our first year we had 7 kids, and then we had 13 last year, and this year we have 31. And basically the kids sign up for it. They get assigned an animal. So we do a lottery system, and they take care of their animal at the fairgrounds with zero cost associated with it. So they either have a lamb, pig, or goat. And our foundation covers everything. So it's an awesome program for kids who don't live on a farm, don't have the resources to purchase an animal to show at the fair. And the kids just thrive in it. It's an adorable program. And then, so they'll show it at the fair, and then auction it off. And any money that they receive at the auction for their animal, they also get to keep. So super cool way to raise money, but also get an awesome experience.
Boy, cool.
There's so many things going on at the fair this year. It's going to be fantastic. I also think, the concert lineup is huge. So I know for sure people are going to want to check that out so they can be part of the grandstands. I know our sound engineer, Addison, is just looking forward to funneled cake. I mean, that guy's got his eye on the prize. He's watching out for that. But what are some of the other stage shows and so forth that people can be a part of? And certainly all of the ag exhibits.
Yes. So we have a ton of free stuff to do at the fair. So your gate admission would get you in. And then we have All Aboard, who was here last year. They are a non-track train that'll basically give you a tour of the whole fairgrounds. Dangerous Feats of Comedy will be here, and they're a blast. Hot Diggity Dog and more will be here. They have a ton of dogs. rumor has it they're bringing a camel too, so that'll be a fun show to see. Mobile Glass Studios will be back making some cool art. Molotov will be here. He's kind of a Renaissance fair fire eater, and he'll be walking around along with our Royal Rogues and Renegades, who is the pirate king and queen at our Renaissance fair, and they just couldn't get enough of us, so they had to come back for the fair this year. And then a fan favorite is the Swifty Swine Racing Pigs. So our pig racers will be back, and they are just a blast too. And then we have our Your Live Event free stage, which has free bands and singers every night before and after a grandstand show. And that's all on our website. I know it's a lot of information, but super fun local artists that are just super fun to watch.
Super cool.
Above all, I am just excited about the fact that you're going to have things like the birthing center. I think that's a wonderful addition.
Yeah.
I've seen those at several fairs and ag expos. It is quite the live experience. There'll be a vet on hand, I'm sure, to keep tabs on Mama Cow as things progress. But if you've never witnessed a live birth, here is your chance. Never know what might happen.
Yes, we just had one come early this week. So she was due on the 28th and was born on the 21st. So she was a little bit early, and we named him Roy after our mascot. So he's adorable and already walking around and hanging out with us.
Oh, this sounds fantastic. Any highlights of the concerts that you want to mention, Erin, just in our last couple minutes?
Oh, we have a ton. Just prefacing, tickets are already on sale for all of our concerts. Some of them are going pretty fast, and prices will increase on the 28th, so the first day of fair. So if you're looking to buy tickets, buy now. First weekend is Goo Goo Dolls, Sublime with Rome, and then our first comedian ever to hit the Titan Machinery stage is Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, so that'll be a fun change up. And then second weekend, 4th of July, is completely free concert. So Hairball will be here thanks to Window World. Young Gravy will be on the 5th, Ludacris on the 6th, and Skillet on the 7th. And then our last weekend, we'll close out with Disney Princess, the concert. They were supposed to come last year, but they rescheduled, so they'll be fun. Blake Shelton, our big show on July 12th. Breaking Benjamin on the 13th, and then closing out with Riley Green on Sunday the 14th. So full lineup, something for everybody. If you like country, rock, rap, hip hop, we got something for everybody.
Sure, sounds like that's quite a lineup.
Yeah,
it's a
I
full
thought
schedule of
Cody and the team
people.
did a pretty good job.
Sure, looks like it. Erin, if someone wants to get more information about this, check in a little more in detail with either the egg booths that we're going to be going on, anything else at the fair, and as well the concerts and the dates and how they can find or buy tickets, where would you direct them to go?
Yeah, so you can find all of our information at our website. It's redrivervalleyfair.com, and we have a ton of information under that Fair Fun tab. Our social media, so our Facebook, is going crazy right now. We're sharing everything to stay in the know, so that's also great to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. And one more time, what was that website?
Yep, redrivervalleyfair.com.
Awesome. Erin, appreciate it very much for joining us today. You have a great rest of your week, and I hope the fair goes well for you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got to take a quick moment here when we come back. A couple more ag topics, a check on the forecast, the chance of storms coming in later today that could be on the strong side. And if you got a question, feel free to call in. 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing shoe line, or email weatherorag@flagfamily.com. And welcome back to the program. 1:53 on this Monday afternoon, and temperatures working their way into the lower and mid 80s, but dew points approaching 70 degrees. It is muggy out there to see the least. I'll have a full rundown on the rest of the day's forecast, as well as the next few days coming up here in just a moment. But we got about 5 minutes left of the show. If you want to sneak in here quick, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoe phone line. You can call us at any time. We got a couple ag topics that we'll try to wrap up here, and you're talking anywhere between John Deere, Mexico, and the military and lab-grown meat. So we got some fun little topics to talk about here. And why don't we just start with number one, layoffs and John Deere.
Okay, so much going on in the farming world. We know that our commodities for corn, soybeans, and wheat, which are three crops here for acreage, they're not stellar right now. We're seeing some downward trends in the market. That equates to farmers spending money and not buying as much new equipment. And so our equipment manufacturers are reacting to that. John Deere has announced some layoffs at their facilities in Iowa. They have said that it's probably going to be, just depending on which portion of business, you're probably going to be losing a couple hundred different employees down there. And it wouldn't be a surprise if we hear the same from Case IH, which is actually operates under the name CNH Industrial, based in Racine, Wisconsin. We won't be surprised to see that until we have a rebound in commodity prices. And it's probably something that we have noticed simply because of, again, that downward cycle in our commodities right now with corn, soybeans, etc. Overall, we know that farmers are interested in buying more used equipment than they might be buying new at this point in time.
I see. Very interesting. And Bridgette, we're getting a little choppy with you. Maybe if you want to just call in these last 3 minutes, I'll run down the forecast here quickly. What we're dealing with today. Yeah, thanks, Bridgette. We're looking at temperatures right now at the airport, 84 degrees, end on 81. East winds are at 15, gusting to 25 around the area. And for the most part, temperatures are near and in the low 80s. We should be working our way into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees for this afternoon. And after about 4 o'clock, we'll start to watch for some redevelopment of thunderstorms. It's kind of a big maybe if they even form, but if they are able to form, so keep your eye on the sky or be ready for notifications on your phone or whatnot, because storms will have the potential of rapidly intensifying and bringing a chance for severe weather, with hail up to 2 inches in diameter being a possibility, and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, even an isolated tornado being possible. So real threat, just a maybe if the storms will actually develop after 4 o'clock. That threat does exist into the evening hours, and then that will kind of pivot more into Minnesota as we head closer to dark. And then we'll just be left with partly cloudy skies for the rest of tonight as we drop down to a low in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, mid-80s, partly cloudy, less humidity, still breezy. A couple isolated sprinkles or a light shower possible on Wednesday, but most of the day looks dry, upper 70s. And we'll be back in the mid-80s on Thursday and Friday, and another chance for showers and storms Thursday night into Friday afternoon. But Friday afternoon showers look a little hit or miss in my opinion. Doesn't look like too much widespread, with an exception into southern Canada and along the Canadian border. We'll see a little more consistent showers the way it looks like right now. Bridgette.
Yo, right here.
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
Sorry, I just had to make it awkward there for a second.
It's okay. I'm not sure what was happening. Apparently, everybody else around me wants to use all the cellular bandwidth. But anywho, what's going on in the military these days?
Mm-hmm.
Well, some might call that an experiment, whereas there has been up to $500 made available in grant funding for something called a BioMade. They are a manufacturing company that is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Defense. They have a vision to build a sustainable domestic end-to-end bioindustrial manufacturing ecosystem. All of that means what they're planning on doing is building cell-cultured meat for our military to go into their MREs, et cetera. Many are up in arms about it because they look at it as, why should we be experimenting on our military folks by making them eat what's not a real protein in many eyes? National Cattlemen's Association, RCAF, all of the others, including the folks who represent American pork producers and more, are all protesting and saying, no, if we're going to do something, let's feed our military with the best, because we do indeed have the best people involved in our military service. So just one thing that's going on, And Mexico seems to be in favor of us again with their newly elected president, Claudia Sheinbaum. She is very happy to see that the U.S. could potentially increase their trading with Mexico, and that'll primarily focus on grain. One of them certainly would be corn, and there may be other as well. Mexico is our largest importer of U.S. corn, not just for what would be fed to people, but used in their livestock as well. So much happening there. Last thank you to Grateful Cratefuls for the kind gift they shared with me for the work we do in talking about ag here on WDAY. Coming up next will be what identifies as the #1 show in the afternoon with Jay Thomas.